and people are going to have a smile on their face, hopefully, when they leave, and they're going to see us having fun, and hopefully it'll be an enjoyable experience for them as well.
That's the general idea.
Yeah, that is the general idea.
You're listening to the Auto Advice Podcast, brought to you by Toyota of Cool Springs.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Auto Advice Podcast. I am here today with Carlos Griffin. He's one of our salespeople. You guys know me by now. I'm Ashley Calderon. I'm one of the finance managers here at Toyota of Cool Springs. And today we are talking about understanding the car buying process. Now, how did you get into the car business?
So it was around 2009. I had a family member that was working managing a small car dealership, and I got involved just for fun and ended up liking it. So.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Now, have you always just done the sales part of it?
Actually, I was kind of managing one of the small stores. I had to oversee the sales process there, actually purchasing the vehicles. It was like a buy here, pay here type deal for first-time buyers, that kind of thing. Do
you enjoy the sales process itself more than the management side of it?
There's a lot more work the management side.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Now, how long have you been here at Toyota Cool Springs?
Here a little over 6 years.
That's awesome.
Since April 2nd, 2018.
Oh wow. Yeah, so you've been here for a while.
Yeah.
I've seen your picture on the wall for Salesperson of the Month and Salesperson of the Year even, hadn't it?
A couple times maybe up there.
Yeah, you're popular.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sure. Yeah, I started, I guess it'll be 23 years in June, and I sold cars for a very, very short period of time. It was not really my jam. I enjoy the management side of it a little bit more. I don't have to spend as much time with people, but I get to be a problem solver too. So I enjoy that part.
Sure. Cool.
So I guess the whole reason why I wanted to do this was just so that people would have a better understanding, obviously, of what they're going to be looking at when they come in. There are people that have never done this before, and then obviously people that have done it hundreds of times. But what does it look like for you start to finish, like when one of your customers comes in, whether it's somebody you've worked with before or just somebody you've just met and upped on the lot? What does it look like for them?
So internet is definitely streamlining the process a little bit more these days. People can do more research online. They can kind of narrow it down to maybe a couple of models that they're looking at, as opposed to just coming in and naming a list of vehicles to look at. And sometimes people come in and they know more about the vehicle than I do.
Yeah, it does happen. It does.
But the picture is worth 1,000 words. Sitting in a vehicle, looking at it, taking it for a drive, if you're able to find one, is really helpful too. But we still make it a pretty seamless process when people come in without having done any research online. Toyotas, just everyone knows overall they're very reliable.
Right.
Some of the newer vehicles are sharing powertrains and engines and all that. You can drive one and kind of get an idea for what a new model coming out might drive like, because they're sharing the same.
Right.
The same setup. But we do our best to make it a painless process.
Yeah. What does it look like? So if I was coming in just as a person who's never really bought a car before and coming in, what is it kind of like a step-by-step process? Like when they first come in, obviously there's a meet and greet and you guys kind of figure out who you are. But what is that process? Because years and years ago, it was so tedious. There's like the wants and the needs and this list and that list and which color do you not like, and what does the process look like now, kind of from start to midpoint and moving forward on the sales side of it?
Basics are still kind of there. Your needs assessment. You find out what the person kind of wants and needs.
Yeah.
And just go in and pick out a couple of cars and see if everything checks the boxes and all that. In most cases, a customer has a pretty good idea of what they're looking for. Every now and then, they'll come in and say, I usually have this many people in the car with me, or I have a carpool, or I go to work and I have to drive 40 miles a day, and they kind of tell you what their lifestyle is. And those are kind of fun because sometimes you can just kind of pick something out for someone.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear them at the end of the process say, hey, this one was perfect. This worked out just right for me.
Yeah. So sometimes people don't really know what it is that they need. I know, and Justin and I had talked about this when we were comparing the 4Runners and the Highlanders, is that there's a lot of people that just don't even realize what they need, or they'll refuse to drive a car. And we made such a big impact statement with the whole, please drive the car, at least to eliminate it from your list. And then, of course, with the emergence of all the hybrids that are out there, there's a lot of people that come in insisting that they need a hybrid, but they don't realize that if most of their driving is interstate driving, it's pointless to purchase one. Like, sure. You're not really going to get the benefits that you would if you were just doing a bunch of in-town driving. So, is there a significant difference that you've found in the fact that you obviously have you're bilingual, so sure. You get to help out with customers. I know that it was something that has always kind of bothered me, if you will. I don't feel like people should ever go in to do something, especially making a big purchase like buying a car, and not be able to speak to somebody that actually speaks their language, because so many things can get lost in translation. And I feel like that's something that especially the Toyota stores that I've been at, we've always kind of gone out of our way to make sure that there's somebody that speaks the majority of the languages that are in a given market, just so that we can make sure that we're properly taking care of those customers. So what does that look like for you?
It makes it easier being able to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
In the Spanish-speaking community, Toyota is a big player, right? In a lot of the Latin American countries, it's about the best-selling brand.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, like folks here, people trust the brand intrinsically. They know they're getting quality, longevity, low cost of ownership, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you see a customer come in, Spanish speaking, oftentimes maybe the younger family members are bilingual, speak perfect English. But it's if they're helping the parent or a grandparent or someone get a vehicle, they just really like to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
In their
as they
their
should.
language.
I think that it's fair to be able to communicate things that are very, very important, as far as numbers and interest rates and the different options and stuff that are out there, instead of having to kind of piece together a conversation and not really be able to answer big questions in a language that somebody understands as their first language.
Sure.
I couldn't imagine going to another country and trying to buy a car and trying to figure out exactly what I was doing and not understanding what anybody was saying. It would give me really bad anxiety, and it's not fair.
Yeah, for a lot of people, this is their top 2 or 3 biggest purchases they make. So,
yeah, it's a big deal. How long would you say it typically takes with your customers, regardless of the situation? What's the average amount of time that you think your customers end up spending in the store before they get back here to us, obviously?
Sure. It's a pretty seamless process. I mean, on average, customer would be here an hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hours tops.
Yeah, between going through the back and forth with the sales desk, trying to nail down numbers and picking out a car and stuff. I think that's probably the most lengthy part of the process, though, is picking out the right car for somebody and then making sure that we have it. I know that back here, you guys seem to almost get antsy sometimes, right? Once you guys bring a deal back here to finance, because that's kind of where everything changes, right? And I know that there's several of the salespeople here that get a little bit more impatient, if you will. Obviously, you guys have been entertaining your clients for hours at this point, trying to, keep up with small talk and conversation and going over the vehicle with them, and then you guys bring it back here to us. And that's part of the reason why I kind of wanted to do this conversation as well, is just so that not only do our customers understand, like, there's a reason why sometimes it takes a little bit of time once you're done with your salesperson to get into a physical finance office or a business office. So we're responsible for making sure that everything is legal and correct. A lot of customers don't put their legal name that's on their driver's license on, like, their credit application, or they give us a nickname or something like that when they're getting started in the process, and we have to make sure that everything is their legal name once it goes to titling and things like that. And then we have to get things submitted to the bank, and we try to pre-print paperwork so that there's not as much noise and distraction, especially if you've got people in here with their young kids and stuff like that. We try to, get the process as easy as it can be, but we find a lot of times that somebody ordered a car and the date didn't get changed in the system, and we've already printed everything, and then we got to go back and change it. And so we have a completely different set of things that we have to do back here that we're the last line of defense before a customer leaves, and there's nothing I hate more than having to call a customer and be like, hey, so what had happened is, we signed everything and your name is completely misspelled, or, because customers don't really pay a whole lot of attention to that stuff too. We'll be halfway through signing their paperwork and they're like, that's not actually my address, or whatever the case may be. So lots of checks and balances and stuff back here, and just making sure that everything lines up with, banking and whatnot. But what do you think has changed the most over the last couple of years? I mean, since you've been in it anyways, as far as how the process works, and do you think it's better or worse in some way?
No, I think it's, like I said, the online has changed things quite a bit.
Yeah.
During the whole supply chain issues with the pandemic, you see a lot of customers purchasing vehicles before they arrive.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different. So, you'll have a customer come out and want one of the new Tacomas, and it hasn't necessarily gotten here yet, but just, based on the trust they have for Toyota and knowing that the Tacoma is our premier mid-sized truck.
Yeah.
People are purchasing them without even having seen the truck.
Yeah. Which is something that was unheard of in the business 20 years ago. Like, if you couldn't, see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, people weren't buying it. Sure. And now you've got cars that are sold months before they ever even hit the ground. We were selling Sequoias before there was really even one on the lot for people to look at. They were just snatching them up.
Now it's Land Cruisers, Tacomas.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be the same when the 4Runner gets redesigned.
Oh, for sure. What do you think makes this store specifically so different from, well, A, any other Toyota store, and B, just other car dealerships in general?
Sure. We have, a really good team of people here from top to the bottom of the organization.
Yeah.
Owner, management. My coworkers are some, really, really cool people here.
I enjoy you guys too. Yeah.
Yeah. We make each other laugh.
We really do.
Well, we're really focused on customer service. Yeah. We meet frequently. We're always talking about the culture, and we mention other businesses that we aspire to, and to even go above and beyond as far as a customer service aspect goes. But it's a good store. Everybody cares about each other.
It is. I tell people all the time when they come in here, they ask how long I've been here. I've only been here obviously since September, but I've been with Toyota for 6.5 years now. But the one thing I think that I noticed immediately was obviously upper management. You've got George, who's obviously amazing. Like, he walks around, he'll give everybody hugs and high fives, and it's, LFG all day long, and he kind of roots us on. But one of the biggest things that I noticed is that he believes that if his employees are happy, obviously his customers are going to be happier, right?
Sure.
Happy employees take better care of their clients, and it's all just it flows from there. I think that the general culture here is that it really is a family. We cut up, we eat together, we have Christmas parties and just kind of hang out and do our thing. And you can tell when you come into this store that everybody genuinely cares for each other. There's not really a whole lot of the toxicity that exists in a lot of car dealerships, where you've got managers screaming at salespeople, and you can kind of hear it outside on the sales floor. That's always rubbed me the wrong way. Everybody here is pretty respectful to one another and what their needs are and stuff, and it's been really nice. It kind of plays into why you should buy here, right? That it's a family environment. They actually care about people, and if they care that much about their employees, obviously they're going to go above and beyond to take care of their customers as well. But why would you think it would be more beneficial, if you will, to purchase a new Toyota right now above any other brand on the market?
Really amazing products coming out from Toyota right now, right? There's been a ton of launches the past couple of years, a lot more in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Really cool looking stuff. Like I said, a lot of excitement about the Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
This Grand Highlander was a surprise to me. I didn't know that was in the works, and that launched last year to quite a bit of fanfare.
I questioned the Grand Highlander too when they first said it was coming out, and I was like, well, what's going to be so grand about it? Because the images that we were seeing, it really didn't look any different. Yeah. But then when it actually came out, I was like, holy cow, that's actually a really, really sharp ride.
Yeah. about as spacious as a Sequoia. Yeah.
Almost, yeah. But better gas mileage.
Yeah.
Much better gas mileage.
Sure.
I say that from personal experience. Y'all, I get like 13 miles to the gallon in it, but that's my own fault. I digress. Yeah.
That's about 6-7 less than what it's rated for.
Well, that's what happens when you lift it and put 35s on it and you drive it like you stole it. It happens. It happens. So, yeah, it's there's a lot of stuff coming out. There's Toyota's got some really, really great incentives that are out right now. I've seen interest rates are coming down, which they've so needed to do. Toyota's gotten really, really competitive with that. So there's some incentives on the new cars. We've got some incentivized rates, some rebates.
That's why Tundras are flying out of here. They've had some really good incentives the past couple of months.
Yeah, they've had some great incentives. And then what is it? The BZ4X? I think they've got some crazy incentives on those, like 2.99 incentivized rates on them, and all kinds of like cashback bonuses and stuff. They're trying to push a whole bunch of stuff. So lots of reasons to buy a new Toyota right now. So I guess in closing, it sounds like the main piece here is that customers are going to come in. We're going to do a needs assessment just like we used to do 20 and 30 years ago. They're going to pick out a car. They're going to hang out with you for a little bit, and then eventually they're going to get back here. We're going to wrap them up in a pretty little package and send them on down the way, hopefully with all of their legal documents intact the way that they're supposed to be. Sounds good. Well, guys, I would like to thank you for joining us once again. I hope that you learned something today. Maybe it's something that makes you feel a little bit more confident about coming into a dealership and understanding how the process is actually going to work. What it's going to look like once you get into a business office, and then obviously learning a face that you might get to deal with when you come in. Obviously, Carlos is here to answer any questions for you. I do want to point out, when it comes time to reach out to one of us, if you ever need anything at all, I kind of wanted to show you our website if you've not already seen it. So if you go to toyotaofcoolsprings.com, obviously this is our homepage, but there is an About section right here. And if you click on it and go to Meet Our Staff, there are tabs for sales, finance, service, parts, etc. And you can actually click on any one of us. So Carlos is right here, and it's going to give you our email address. Some of us have a phone number listed, and that way you can reach out to us at any point in time with any questions. I know me personally, I'm awful at answering the phone, but I'm pretty religious about answering my emails. Like, I'll answer them even if I'm not here. And I think that most of us are about the same way. So if you do have any questions or concerns, or you want to schedule an appointment to come in, by all means, send us a message, toyotaofcoolsprings.com. Again, we are located right here in the heart of Franklin. We are at 1875 West McEwen, just outside of the Cool Springs shopping area, and we look forward to seeing you and selling you a new or pre-owned car. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Auto Advice Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please consider texting it to someone who could use it, and leave a review wherever you're listening, which will allow us to help more people navigate the ever-changing automotive world. The Auto Advice Podcast provides advice and opinions from individuals featured on the show. It is important to note that these opinions are solely those of the individuals and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Toyota of Cool Springs. Listeners should exercise their own judgment and discretion when considering and implementing any advice or information provided in the podcast. Toyota of Cool Springs assumes no responsibility for any actions taken by individuals based on the information or opinions shared in this episode. Please consult with professionals or experts in the respective fields for specific advice or guidance related to your particular situation. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Auto Advice Podcast.